Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive. Today we're diving into Tim Ferriss's Tools of Titans,
Oh, yeah.
which is
That good one.
it's a beast of a book
Yeah,
and kind of intimidating
it is.
when you first look at it.
It's really thick.
Yeah, so this is going to be a three-parter.
Three-part.
So we're going to break this down into like little bite-sized chunks for everybody, so you can get those nuggets out of it.
The tools and tactics
Yes,
of
you got Titans.
the Titans.
Exactly.
So essentially what he did was he compiled all these like little golden nuggets from his podcast.
Yeah,
From all these like
Man.
amazing people that he's interviewed.
World-class.
Performers.
And, everybody from athletes to, investors,
Business people.
entrepreneurs.
Yeah, musicians.
Yeah, it's like the whole gamut.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I thought was really interesting was how he talks about goal setting, and he kind of reframes it.
Okay.
And he has this question he asks, and I'm going to try to get this right.
Okay.
What could you accomplish in 6 months if you had a gun to your head?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's a
yeah.
powerful question.
Yeah, so it's a little traumatic, but
Yeah.
I think it's supposed to be.
It is.
Right?
It's meant to be provocative.
Yeah, and I think what he's trying to get at is like breaking us out of those self-imposed
Exactly.
limitations.
Yeah, like how much control do we actually have over our reality and
Yeah.
our timeline?
Yeah.
It's a thought experiment
Exactly.
designed to break us free from those limitations that we put on ourselves.
So instead of thinking like, oh, this is going to take me like 10 years to do,
Yeah.
it's like, well, what if I only had 6 months to do it?
Yeah, what if you had no choice but to make massive progress right now?
Exactly.
It's about urgency
Yeah,
and shattering those mental barriers we create for ourselves.
exactly.
No, we all have.
Yeah, and we all have those.
Oh,
Speaking pushing limits,
Mhm.
I was really intrigued by his experience with the Gymnast Strong program
okay.
with Coach Christopher Summer.
Yeah.
Um, and he talks about the rapid results that he got in just 8 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like you look at gymnasts and you're like, man, what is their secret?
It's incredible.
Yeah, like how are they
The control.
so strong?
It's the
And-
strength.
Yeah, the control.
It's amazing.
And I think, the secret is that they're using a lot of muscles that most people don't even,
Exactly.
most people have no idea.
Yeah.
They're just not even aware of these muscles.
And one of the exercises that I thought was interesting that he talks about is called the QL walk.
QL walk.
And have you heard of this one?
I have.
Okay,
It's
so
a good one.
you're basically sitting on a mat
Okay.
with your legs extended
Okay.
and you're holding a kettlebell and you're basically walking using your
Wow.
glutes.
So you're activating your glutes to move forward.
Yeah, and I've tried it.
It's harder than it looks.
It is.
It's definitely harder than it looks.
It's one of those deceptively simple exercises that really targets those
Yes.
often neglected muscles.
And I guess that's the QL muscle, is that right?
The quadratus lumborum.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's so important for core stability.
Yeah.
But so many of us have weak QLs from,
Sitting all
sitting at a desk all day.
Exactly.
There's another one that I thought was interesting too. It's the dips with ring turnout.
Oh, yeah. Dips on the rings are hard enough.
Yeah.
But adding that turnout,
Yeah, it's like, ouch.
that's next level.
So you're doing your dip, and then at the top, you're turning your hands out.
Yeah. It's a real challenge for your brachialis and your shoulder extension.
Wow. Yeah. I'm going to have to try that one.
It's a good one.
Okay, so let's move on to something that's always a hot topic.
Okay.
Fasting.
Okay.
So Ferriss has experimented with a lot of different fasting protocols.
Yeah, he's not afraid to experiment.
No.
He's all about pushing boundaries.
He's like a human guinea pig.
He is.
He even did a 10-day fast,
Wow.
which I don't know if I could do that.
That's intense.
That's pretty intense.
Yeah, I think for prolonged fasts like that, it's always important to do it under medical supervision.
Oh, yeah.
But it is fascinating to consider the potential benefits.
Yeah, and he consulted with Dr. Rhonda Patrick, who's done a ton of research on fasting.
Yeah, she's a leading expert in the field.
Yeah, and, there's more and more evidence suggesting that fasting can do things like improve cellular repair, reduce inflammation,
Yeah.
maybe even fight cancer.
There's some really interesting research coming out about the potential cancer-fighting effects of fasting.
Yeah, there's a guy, Dr. Dominic D'Agostino,
Yeah, he's doing some groundbreaking work.
yeah, who's doing some really interesting work in that area.
It's a rapidly evolving field,
Yes.
and Ferriess's experiments highlight just how much we still don't know
Yeah.
about the body's capabilities.
So fasting is definitely something to look into, but do it safely.
Definitely consult with a medical professional.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so let's cool down a little bit, literally,
Okay.
and talk about cold exposure.
Cold exposure.
Yeah, because it seems like every high performer
Yeah.
in this book swears by it.
It's pretty remarkable how many of them use it as a tool.
Yeah, I mean, you've got Wim Hof,
Laird Hamilton.
Anthony Robbins, like it's,
They all do it.
yeah, and and it sounds unpleasant,
It does.
but it's like
But the benefits are undeniable.
it can boost your immune system,
Yeah.
increase fat loss.
And even elevate your mood.
Yeah, they used to prescribe cold baths to Van Gogh,
I've heard that.
right?
To help with his mental health.
Wow.
It's fascinating.
Yeah, so I've been hearing about the fat loss thing, but how does that work?
Well, cold exposure can increase the production of adiponectin.
Adiponectin.
Yeah, it's a hormone that helps regulate blood sugar and break down fat.
All right.
And it also triggers those endorphins,
Okay.
which have mood-boosting effects.
Interesting. So those cold showers maybe aren't so bad after all.
Maybe not.
Okay, so we pushed our bodies to the limit with the fasting and the cold exposure.
Right.
Let's talk about something else
Okay.
that's important.
Okay. Play important for everyone.
And this is something that's not just for kids.
No.
And Jane McGonigal, she has a great quote in here. She says, the opposite of play isn't work, it's depression.
Wow, that's powerful.
Yeah,
And so true.
it is.
I mean, we need play to thrive.
Yeah, and it's about bringing joy and levity
Yeah.
into our lives.
Even when we're pursuing ambitious goals,
Yeah.
we need that balance.
We do.
We need to have fun
Yes.
along the way.
Okay, so let's talk about morning routines,
Okay.
because there are a lot of different approaches in this book.
Oh, yeah. So many different routines.
The one that stood out was Tim's 5-minute journal.
The 5-minute journal. Yeah, it's a classic.
I'm sure a lot of people are familiar with it.
Yeah.
But what I think is fascinating is how effective it is.
It is.
For something so simple.
Yeah.
It's just a few minutes.
5 minutes. But
I've-
the impact can be huge.
The impact can be huge.
Yeah.
For cultivating gratitude and setting a positive tone for the day.
It's amazing how much of a difference those few minutes can make.
And I like how it combines gratitude with setting intentions for the day.
Yeah.
It's
It's like a blueprint for the next 24 hours.
like, okay, what do I want to accomplish today?
Yeah. How do I want to feel?
How will I feel?
What are my priorities?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
expressing gratitude for what you already have.
Yeah.
It's a powerful combination.
So there's also a lot of other interesting rituals that are mentioned in the book,
Okay, like what?
like making your bed.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Remember that line from Admiral McRaven's commencement speech?
mhm.
If you make your bed every morning, you will have accomplished the first task of the day. It will give you a small sense of pride, and it will encourage you to do another task, and another, and another.
All right. It's so simple.
It is,
Yep.
but it sets the tone.
Yeah, it creates a sense of order
Yeah.
and accomplishment.
Exactly.
And those little things
Yeah.
can make a big difference.
They can.
Meditation is another big one.
Yeah, so many benefits to meditation.
Yeah, and there are all different kinds of meditation, but
Yeah.
he talks about transcendental meditation
Yeah.
a little bit in there.
It's a great technique.
And even just doing a few reps of exercise in the morning,
Yeah.
like just getting your body moving.
Just getting the blood flowing.
Yeah.
Waking up your muscles.
Exactly.
It can make a big difference.
So we've talked about maximizing our potential, pushing our limits.
Right.
But what about taking a break?
Taking a break.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And this is something that he calls deloading.
Deloading. So like taking time to just think.
Yeah, it's about creating space
Yeah.
for those aha moments.
Just to be
Yeah,
and let your mind wander.
exactly. And, I'm sure you've experienced this, like that burnout feeling
Oh, yeah.
where you're just completely
absolutely
drained
yeah.
and
Creatively stuck.
creatively stuck.
Yeah.
And, and I think that's where deloading comes in.
It's like hitting the reset button,
Yeah.
giving your mind a chance to recharge.
And he talks about it in his journal. He talks about like the importance of slack,
Yeah.
negative space.
Interesting.
And he even quotes Kurt Vonnegut. He says, farting around.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. To do things for the hell of it, for no damn good reason at all.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's so important to have that unstructured time
It is.
to just explore and play.
And I think it's counterintuitive,
It is.
because we're so programmed to
Yeah.
be productive,
It'd be busy.
be busy. Yeah.
Or
And
be constantly doing something.
right, to be on all the time.
Yeah.
But I think that's where we get into trouble.
It's where burnout happens and
Yeah.
where creativity goes to die.
Exactly. Because when we're constantly on orders, our brains are in this like hyper arousal state.
Yeah.
which isn't conducive
To creativity.
to creativity.
Oh.
Yeah, so deloading is about,
It's about giving your brain a break,
yeah,
allowing it to relax and wander.
yeah,
And that's where the magic happens.
that's where the magic happens. Okay,
Okay.
so we've talked about maximizing our potential, taking breaks.
Right.
Now let's talk about something else
Okay.
that's really important,
Okay.
connecting with an audience.
Connecting with an audience.
And this is where Kevin Kelly's concept of 1,000 true fans
Oh, yeah.
comes in.
That's a great concept.
I love this concept.
It's so empowering,
Yeah.
especially for creators.
Yeah, because he's basically saying you don't need millions of followers
Yeah.
to be successful.
You don't need to go viral.
You don't need to go viral.
You don't need to be a household name.
Yeah, you just need to build a direct relationship
Yeah.
with 1,000 true fans.
People who genuinely connect with your work.
People who are
Yeah.
your ride or dies.
Exactly.
They're your biggest supporters.
Yes. And it shifts the focus from quantity to quality.
Absolutely.
You know, it's not about,
It's not about chasing the masses.
yeah, it's about,
It's about building a tribe
yes,
of people who truly resonate with what you're doing
exactly.
and are willing to invest in you.
Yeah. So it's like building that core group of people
Yeah, your core community.
who are going to support you no matter what.
Exactly.
Okay, so let's talk about a mantra that might seem a little paradoxical.
Okay.
At first,
Okay.
discipline equals freedom.
Discipline equals freedom.
No, that's Jocko Willink's mantra.
Yeah, he's all about discipline.
He is.
And for good reason.
And I think what he's saying is that, you know, by embracing structure and discipline,
No.
you actually create more freedom in your life.
It seems counterintuitive.
It does, but it's true.
It's like,
When you have a solid routine,
Yep.
when you have those systems in place, you free up so much mental energy.
yeah, because you're not constantly having to make decisions.
Ah, exactly.
You know, you're not constantly having to,
You're not wasting willpower on
Yeah.
trivial things.
right, so you can focus on the things that really matter.
Exactly.
And this is something that he talks about a lot, like pre-scheduling his workouts.
Yeah.
So it's like,
It's already on the calendar.
it's already on the calendar.
It's non-negotiable.
I don't have to think about it.
Exactly.
Already done.
And that frees up mental space for other things.
Exactly.
For creativity, for problem solving.
Yeah, and I think that's a really important.
Yeah. It's about creating that scaffolding
Yeah.
for a more productive life.
Oh, and lastly, let's end on a positive note
Okay.
with the jar of awesome.
The jar of awesome.
Yeah.
I love this one.
It's such a simple but effective practice,
It is.
and it's all about creating a physical reminder
Yeah.
of the good things in your life.
A tangible reminder.
Yeah. So you
Because it's so easy to forget those little moments of joy,
Yeah.
to let them slip by unnoticed.
and this is, to combat that negativity bias.
Yes.
Because our brains are wired to
Focus on the negative.
focus on the negative.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is like a way to
To retrain our brains
retrain our brains and focus on the positive.
to savor those positive moments.
So what you do is you just write down
Okay.
like little wins and moments of joy
Okay.
on little slips of paper, and you drop them in a jar.
I love that.
And then
It's like a little treasure chest of happiness.
it is.
You can go back and revisit those moments
Yeah.
whenever you need a boost.
It's like a gratitude practice,
It is.
but with a tangible element.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's a great visual reminder
Yeah.
of all the good things in your life.
So we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive into Tools of Titans, but there's so much more to explore.
Yeah, we've only just scratched the surface.
We've only just scratched the surface.
There's a wealth of wisdom in this book.
Stay tuned for part 2, where we'll delve into even more tools and tactics from the Titans.
I can't wait. So you know that jar of awesome thing we were talking about?
Yeah.
It really got me thinking about how many of these titans that Tim interviews
Uh-huh.
talk about mindset.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's not just about tactics and strategies. It's
right.
about cultivating the right mental outlook.
It's like the foundation.
Yeah, like you could have all the tools in the world,
Right.
but if you don't have the right mindset,
Yeah, you're not going to get anywhere.
you're not going to get very far.
And it seems like a recurring theme is self-awareness.
Yeah.
Challenging conventional thinking and really having a clear set of values.
Yeah. Knowing what's important to you,
Right.
what you stand for.
Yeah. And using that to guide your decisions.
Absolutely.
Like Derek Sivers, for instance.
Oh, yeah. Derek Ferriess.
He sold his company CD Baby for $22 million
Wow.
and gave it all to charity.
Yeah. That's not your typical business move.
It's not.
That's a Titan move right there.
It makes you think, what were his motivations?
Yeah. What was he thinking?
I think he has a really good quote in the book.
Oh, yeah. He has a lot of good ones.
He says, being busy is a form of laziness, lazy thinking, and indiscriminate action.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, and it kind of reminds me of what we were talking about before with the deloading.
Right. Like, are we just busy for the sake of being busy?
Yeah, or are we actually being intentional
Yeah. Are we really focusing on the things that matter?
with our time and energy?
Exactly.
So speaking of intentionality,
Okay.
how does Ferriss approach finances and investing?
Well, he's a pretty successful angel investor,
Yeah,
and he's got a pretty unique philosophy.
I like how he talks about it too, because it's very like down to earth.
Yeah, he doesn't sugarcoat it.
No, he's like, this is what I did. This is
Yeah.
what I screwed up on. This is what I learned.
Yeah, he's very transparent
Yeah.
about his wins and losses.
And he even includes like a journal entry
Oh, really?
where he's like wrestling with the decision to take a break from angel investing
Oh, wow.
because it was just like consuming him.
Yeah, that's a good reminder that even the most successful people
Yeah.
struggle with these decisions.
Question their own
Yeah,
you know,
their assumptions.
assumptions. Yeah.
Their strategies.
And I think that's so important,
It is.
to be able to step back and be like,
Yeah.
okay, is this working for me?
Is this still aligned with my goals?
Is this still aligned with my goals?
Mhm.
Do I need to adjust?
Yeah, do I need to pivot?
So what are some of his key investment principles?
Well, one that stood out to me was his focus on avoiding playing defense with his investments.
What does that mean?
Like, he's not interested in just protecting his money.
Okay.
He's looking for those big wins.
The home runs.
Yeah, the home runs.
Yeah.
He wants to invest in businesses that have the potential for explosive growth.
So he's looking for those game changers,
Exactly.
the disruptors.
Yeah, the companies that are creating new markets.
Pushing the boundaries.
Absolutely.
I like that.
He also talks about the importance of investing in people,
Okay.
not just ideas.
Makes sense.
Because a great idea is nothing without a great team to execute it.
Right.
So he looks for founders who are passionate, resilient.
They've got that fire in their belly.
Yeah, they've got that drive.
Yeah. And they have a clear vision for the future.
Absolutely.
It reminds me of the interview with Peter Thiel in the book.
Oh, yeah, Peter Thiel.
He's known for his contrarian thinking,
Yeah, he's definitely got a unique perspective.
especially when it comes to building companies.
Yeah, he's not afraid to challenge the status quo.
What are some of his key ideas?
Well, one of the most interesting ones is his advocacy for building monopolies.
Monopolies.
Yeah, he argues that truly innovative companies create new categories and then dominate them.
Okay, that's interesting because we're always taught that competition is good.
Right, but Thiel's saying that if you want to create lasting impact, you need to create something truly unique.
To become the leader in that space.
Exactly, to become the go-to company in that category.
So it's about differentiation.
Yeah, it's about being different,
Standing out.
standing out from the crowd.
Okay, so what else?
He also talks about the importance of operating in stealth mode.
Stealth mode.
Yeah, like quietly building your product and your strategy
Under the radar.
under the radar before you launch it to the world,
Interesting.
which is kind of the opposite of the move fast and break things mentality.
That's so prevalent in Silicon Valley.
Right.
So it's about being deliberate
Yeah,
and strategic
absolutely.
instead of just rushing to market.
Exactly.
Okay, let's move on to something that's near and dear to my heart.
Okay.
Creativity.
Creativity.
The book has so many insights from artists, writers, musicians.
Yeah, it's a treasure trove of creative wisdom.
It is, and I was particularly drawn to the interview with Rick Rubin.
Oh, yeah. Rick Rubin, he's a legend.
Yeah, he's produced albums for like everybody.
From Johnny Cash to Adele.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He's worked with everyone.
And what I thought was so interesting was his emphasis on simplicity,
Okay.
space and silence.
Interesting.
He even has a no devices rule in his studio.
No devices.
No devices. He's like, get the phones out of here.
Wow.
Because he believes that technology can be a major distraction
I can see that.
when you're trying to be creative.
Yeah, it's so easy to get caught up in the constant stream of information.
The notifications, the email,
It's the social media.
social media.
It's overwhelming.
It is. And so Rubin's approach is like a reminder to disconnect,
Yeah.
to create space for inspiration to flow.
To quiet the noise
Yes.
and allow those creative sparks to ignite.
And he also talks about the importance of getting out of the way.
Getting out of the way.
Yeah, like not overthinking things,
Okay.
not forcing it.
Just letting the creative process unfold naturally.
Yeah, trusting your intuition.
Yeah, like surrendering to the process.
Yeah, and I think that's so hard for a lot of us
It is.
because we want to control everything.
Yeah, we want to micromanage every step.
Yeah. But sometimes you just got to let go
Sometimes you just got to trust the process.
and let the magic happen.
Exactly.
It reminds me of the filmmaker Robert Rodriguez.
Oh, yeah, Robert Rodriguez.
He made his first feature film, El Mariachi, for $7,000.
$7,000.
$7,000.
That's incredible.
Yeah, and he's all about like embracing limitations
Yeah.
and making the most of what you have.
Like using constraints to fuel your creativity.
Yeah, he has a great quote. He says, don't let the lack of something stop you from making your movie. Use what you have to make it better.
I love that.
Yeah, so it's about resourcefulness
Yeah,
and ingenuity.
absolutely.
Finding creative solutions to challenges.
And not letting those challenges stop you
Exactly.
from pursuing your vision.
Which brings us to Elon Musk,
Elon Musk.
the ultimate innovator.
Yeah, he's always pushing the boundaries.
Always pushing the boundaries. And he has this first principles thinking approach.
First principles thinking.
Yeah, and it's basically about breaking down problems to their fundamental truths.
Okay.
Instead of relying on conventional wisdom or assumptions,
So like questioning everything.
questioning everything.
Yeah.
And I think it's such a powerful approach
It is.
for problem solving and innovation.
Because it forces you to think differently.
Yes.
To challenge the status quo.
And to really understand the root of the problem.
Yeah, to get to the core of it.
And it requires a certain level of intellectual humility.
Intellectual humility.
Yeah, because you have to be willing to admit that you don't know everything.
Yeah, and to be open to new information.
Yeah.
To be willing to change your mind.
And to learn from others.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Musk is known for his long-term vision
Yeah.
and his willingness to tackle these seemingly impossible challenges.
Yeah, he's not afraid to dream big.
And he's not afraid to fail.
Yeah.
He's like, failure is just part of the process.
It's a learning opportunity.
Yeah.
It's feedback.
It's feedback.
It's telling you what's not working.
And it's about having that growth mindset.
Yes.
Embracing challenges as opportunities to learn and grow.
Absolutely.
Speaking of embracing challenges,
Okay.
let's talk about Whitney Cummings.
Whitney Cummings.
Yeah.
She's hilarious.
She's a comedian, actress, writer.
Yeah, she's a triple threat.
She brings a lot of humor and honesty.
Yeah, she's not afraid to be herself.
No, she's not.
Even if it means being a little different.
And I think that's so important.
It is.
In a world where everyone's trying to fit in.
Yeah.
Like, nope, I'm going to be me.
Yeah, she owns her quirks.
Yeah, and she has a great quote about that.
Oh, yeah, what is it?
She says, if there's something that could be perceived as weird about you, just say it first. It takes the power away from anyone who might try to use it against you.
I love that.
Yeah, it's about owning your individuality
Yeah.
and not letting others define you.
And not letting the fear of judgment hold you back.
Yeah, it's about being comfortable in your own skin,
Exactly.
even if it means being a little bit weird.
And sometimes weird is what makes you memorable.
Yeah,
It's what makes you stand out.
it's what makes you interesting.
Absolutely.
So he's not just eating weird food for shock value.
Right. It's about understanding different cultures
Yeah.
and expanding our horizons.
Yeah, and I think there's something really beautiful about that.
Yeah, it's about celebrating the diversity of human experience.
Exactly. Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit and talk about someone who offers a really unique perspective on life and death.
Okay.
B.J. Miller.
P.J. Miller.
Yeah, he's a palliative care physician.
Oh, wow.
And
That's a tough job.
it is. And, and he talks about, having worked with patients who are facing their own mortality.
Yeah.
And it's really given him this profound understanding of what truly matters.
I can imagine.
And he talks about the importance of living a meaningful life,
Yeah.
appreciating the present moment, and finding peace and acceptance in the face of death.
That's powerful.
It is.
Yeah, death is something that we all have to face eventually,
We do.
but we often avoid thinking about it.
We do.
Yeah.
And I think his work is so important because it reminds us that,
Yeah.
our time is precious.
Yeah.
And we need to make the most of it.
We need to live intentionally.
Yeah. He has a great quote.
What is it?
He says, life is not about avoiding death, but about living fully until you die.
I love that. It's
yeah.
a good reminder.
It is. And it's a call to action,
It is.
to really embrace life,
Yeah.
to live with intention and purpose.
And to appreciate every moment.
Yes. And to not be afraid of death.
Yeah. To accept it as a natural part of life.
Okay, so speaking of living with purpose,
Okay.
let's talk about Damon John.
Damon John.
Yeah, the founder of FUBU
Yeah.
and one of the sharks on Shark Tank.
I love Shark Tank.
It's a good show.
It is.
And he's got a lot of great advice about building a successful business.
Yeah, he's been there and done that.
He has.
He's built an empire from scratch.
And I think what's so inspiring about him is that, he started with nothing.
Yeah, he's a true self-made entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And he's got a great story
Says-
about how he started FUBU.
From his mom's house.
Yeah, from his mom's basement
Yeah.
with just a few $100s.
Yeah, and he built it into this global brand.
It's amazing.
It is. And I think one of the things that he really emphasizes is like the importance of having a clear vision,
Yeah.
being persistent, and never giving up.
You gotta hustle.
Yeah, he has a great quote. He says, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to be successful. You just have to be a good hustler.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So it's not about being the smartest person in the room.
Yeah.
It's about being the most determined.
Yeah. The one who's willing to outwork everyone else.
Exactly.
The one who never gives up.
Okay, so let's talk about someone who's using technology to make a real difference in the world.
Okay.
Louis Fanon.
List one on.
Yeah.
I've heard of him.
He's a computer scientist and entrepreneur,
Okay.
and he's best known for his work on CAPI-TCHA.
CAPI-TCHA.
Yeah, you know those little puzzles that you have to solve.
Yeah, to prove you're not a robot.
To prove you're not a robot, and Duolingo,
Duolingo?
which is a language learning app.
Oh, yeah, I love Duolingo.
It's a great app.
It's so fun and easy to use.
It is, and it's helped millions of people learn new languages for free.
Yeah, it's incredible.
And I think that's what's so inspiring about him.
Yeah.
Is that he's using his skills to solve real-world problems.
Yeah, he's making a difference.
And he talks about the importance of using technology to make a positive impact.
Yeah, to empower people.
Yeah, to democratize access to education.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think Duolingo is a perfect example of that.
It is.
You know, it's making language learning accessible to anyone.
Yeah, no matter who you are or where you're from. Yeah.
You can learn a new language.
So it's about breaking down those barriers.
Yeah,
And creating a more equitable world.
exactly.
So speaking of empowering people, let's talk about Amanda Palmer.
Amanda Palmer.
Yeah, she's a musician, performance artist, author.
Oh, yeah, she's amazing.
And she's known for her very unconventional approach to her career.
Yeah, she's definitely not afraid to break the rules.
No, she's not. And she's all about building community,
Yeah.
connecting with her fans in a meaningful way, and asking for what she needs.
Yeah, she's a big believer in the power of community.
And she's not afraid to be vulnerable.
Yeah.
And to share her struggles.
Yeah, she's very open and honest.
Which I think makes her even more relatable and inspiring.
It does.
You know, and she has a great TED Talk called The Art of Asking.
I've seen that one.
It's so good.
It is.
And it's about the power of vulnerability and the importance of being willing to ask for help.
Yeah, we all need help sometimes.
We do.
It's okay to ask for it. It's okay to ask for it. And I think her message really resonated with a lot of people.
It did.
Because it's like she's giving us permission to be human.
To be imperfect.
Yeah.
To need help.
To need help. Yeah. And to not be afraid
Yeah.
to ask for it.
And to know that we're not alone, that we're all in this together.
So let's talk about someone who's helping us understand how to manage stress
Okay.
and achieve our goals.
Okay.
Dr. Kelly McGonigal.
Kelly McGonigal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's great.
She's a health psychologist.
Yeah.
And she's done a lot of research on stress and willpower.
Stress is such a big issue for so many people.
It is.
It's a modern epidemic.
It is. And I think her research is so interesting because it's kind of like she's turning the conventional wisdom about stress
Yeah.
on its head.
She's saying that stress isn't always a bad thing.
Right.
It's how we perceive it that matters.
Exactly. She has a TED Talk called How to Make Stress Your Friend.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that one.
It's so good.
It's a game changer.
It is. It really shifted my perspective on stress.
And it's about reframing our relationship with stress.
Yeah.
You know, instead of viewing it as this like enemy that we need to avoid,
Right.
it's like maybe we can use it to our advantage.
Yeah, maybe stress can actually be a source of energy and motivation.
Yeah, if we learn to harness it.
Exactly.
Okay, so speaking of harnessing energy,
Okay.
let's talk about Pavel Tsatsouline.
Pavel Tsatsouline.
Yeah.
I've heard of him.
He's a fitness expert,
Okay.
and he's known for his no-nonsense approach to strength training.
Yeah, he's not about all the fancy stuff. He's all about the basics.
Yeah, he's like, just get strong.
Yeah. Lift heavy things.
Yeah.
Get results.
And he has a book called The Naked Warrior,
The Naked Warrior.
which is all about body weight training.
Body weight training.
Yeah. He's like, you don't need a gym.
Yeah. You can get a great workout anywhere.
You can get a great workout anywhere just using your own body weight.
And a few simple tools.
Yeah. Like kettlebells.
Yeah, kettlebells are great.
So it's about simplicity and effectiveness.
Absolutely.
You know, focusing on the fundamentals and being consistent.
Consistency is key.
Yeah.
That's how you get results.
Speaking of consistency and determination,
Okay.
let's talk about Arnold Schwarzenegger,
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
the Terminator.
The Governor.
Yeah.
What a legend.
He's like the embodiment of the American dream.
He is.
You know, he came to America with very little.
Yeah.
And through hard work and determination,
Yeah.
he achieved success in like every field imaginable.
Bodybuilding, acting, politics.
Yeah, it's crazy.
He's done it all.
And he has this like infectious can-do attitude.
Yeah, he's got that positive energy.
And he's all about setting goals and taking action.
Yeah, he's a big believer in the power of goal setting.
Yeah, he has a great quote. He says, the mind is the limit. As long as the mind can envision the fact that you can do something, you can do it, as long as you really believe 100%.
I love that.
Yeah,
It's so true.
it is.
Our beliefs shape our reality. If we believe we can do something, we're more likely to achieve it.
So it's about having that belief in yourself.
Yeah, that self-confidence.
Okay, so let's talk about someone who's a master of uncovering hidden patterns and challenging conventional wisdom.
Okay.
Stephen J. Dubner,
Stephen J. Dubner.
co-author of the Freakonomics series
Oh, yeah, Freakonomics.
and the host of the Freakonomics Radio podcast.
I love that podcast.
It's so good.
It's so interesting.
And he has this knack for looking at the world through a different lens.
Yeah, he's always asking those unexpected questions.
Yeah.
And challenging our assumptions.
And he uses data and economics to explore these, like, really unusual topics.
Yeah, he's not afraid to tackle the unconventional.
Like, he'll look at something that you think you know everything about,
Yeah,
and he'll be like, no, you're wrong.
he'll turn it on its head.
Yeah. And he'll show you, like, the hidden side of things.
Yeah, the unseen forces that are at play.
And one of his most interesting ideas is the concept of incentives.
Incentives,
Yeah.
like rewards and punishments.
Yeah, he's basically saying that human behavior is often driven by incentives,
Yeah,
whether we're aware of them or not.
makes sense.
Yeah, so it's like understanding what motivates people
Yeah,
and how to use that to your advantage.
in a way that's ethical, of course.
Of course, yes.
We don't want to be manipulating people,
No.
but it's helpful to understand how incentives work
It is.
because they're everywhere,
They are.
whether we realize it or not.
Okay, so let's talk about someone who's all about following your dreams.
Okay,
Paulo Coelho,
Paulo Coelho.
the author of The Alchemist,
Oh, yeah, The Alchemist.
which is a classic.
It's a beautiful book.
It is.
Of following your dreams.
Yeah, and his work often explores these themes of personal transformation
Yeah.
and, really like listening to your heart
Yeah.
and following your intuition.
Trusting your gut.
Yeah, and he has a beautiful quote.
What is it?
He says, it's the possibility of having a dream come true that makes life interesting.
I love that.
Yeah, and I think that's so true.
Mhm.
It is.
It's our dreams that give our lives meaning
Yeah.
and purpose.
And it's that journey.
Yeah.
That's the real reward.
Exactly. So we've explored a lot of tools and insights, from tools of titans, from goal setting and fitness to
Yeah.
finance and creativity,
And everything in between.
and everything in between. But I think one of the most important takeaways
Yeah.
is the importance of taking action.
Yes.
It's not enough to just read about these ideas.
Right.
We have to actually apply them.
Yeah, we have to experiment.
Yeah, see what works for us.
And make those tools our own.
Yeah. And I think that's what Ferriss is really encouraging us to do.
Yeah, he's like, take what resonates with you and create your own toolkit. Your own personalized set of tools for life.
So what would be in your toolkit?
Oh, that's a tough one.
If you had to pick like 3 essential tools.
3 essential tools.
On the book,
Let me think.
what would they be?
Okay, I would say the 5-minute journal.
For cultivating gratitude and setting intentions.
Good choice.
Jocko Willink's discipline equals freedom mantra.
Of it.
For embracing structure and routine.
Yeah.
And the jar of awesome.
The Jaro.
For celebrating those little wins.
Yeah, I love those choices.
Yeah, they're all so simple, but so effective.
They are. And I think it highlights what makes this book so valuable.
Yeah,
There's something in here for everyone,
absolutely.
no matter what your goals are or what challenges you're facing.
Yeah, it's a treasure trove of wisdom and practical advice.
Yeah, and it's a reminder that we're all capable of achieving great things.
We are.
If we're willing to learn from the best experiment and take action.
Exactly.
So thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Tools of Titans.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We hope you found it insightful and inspiring.
I hope so.
Be sure to check out the book for yourself and let us know what your top 3 tools would be.
Yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Absolutely.